Welcome back, Big Mush 9000, and today we're going to be making some BRF, that's brown rice flour, cakes to fruit some mushrooms with. And these are some I made maybe about a week ago. They're looking very healthy. Lots of rhizomorphic and tomentose growth. Always good to see. Yeah, easy to make. Let's get into it. Alright, ingredients and equipment. We're going to need some brown rice flour, some vermiculite, water, instant coffee and gypsum, something to weigh and mix all of that together. A full recipe and list of equipment and ingredients can be found in the description. But I do want to talk about the jars that you want to get for this particular procedure. You want a wide mouth canning jar with no shoulder. It wants to be a flat, flush edge inside, just so we can get the cakes out when the time comes to begin fruiting. Okay, once you've weighed and measured your ingredients, it's time to mix them. A tip, always put the water into the vermiculite before you put in the flour. The vermiculite's going to absorb a lot of that water. And if you're to mix the flour in first, you make a real big doughy mess, and we don't want that. We want a nice, consistent, almost like damp sand consistency at the end. Yeah, water before rice, and then just mix it all together, more than you think you need to mix it. And you should have something that kind of looks like this, damp sand. Perfect. Alright, now it's time to prepare the jars. Really easy. Take a spoon and we start spooning in the rice and vermiculite mixture into the jar. Not too dense. You want to leave a little bit of space for the mycelium to stretch and grow through. And you don't want to fill it all the way up to the top, because we are, as you can see here, putting a layer of vermiculite on top of the rice. This is going to function as a barrier against contamination. Dry vermiculite, no water in this, and we just fill it until it's at the lip, just like that. Then we take some foil over the top, nice and tight. We don't want any creases, any channels for contaminants. Not always possible, but try your best. And then just a little bit of tape all the way around. You can see I've missed a bit here, but some more tape is incoming. Just like that, all the way around, 360 degrees, some contact with the glass just to hold it in place. Perfect. Perfect. We also want to put on a layer of tape just like that across the top. This will serve as an inoculation point. Alright, 4 jars ready to go into the pressure cooker. Alright, it's time to sterilize our jars. Very easy. We just put them into the pressure cooker, leaving a bit of space between them, and then we let the pressure cooker reach 15 psi or 105 kilopascals. And once we're at that pressure, we just let it run for about 40 minutes. And the lid's on, and we're at the requisite pressure. Yeah, sweet. Okay, once your jars have been sterilizing for 40 minutes, we let them cool all the way down overnight, and then we begin preparations for inoculation. Obviously, I'm doing this outside of a still air box. Always do this procedure inside a still air box. You're asking for trouble otherwise. but I want to show you what I'm doing when I'm working in there. So first step is I blast the jar with alcohol just to make sure there's no bacteria clinging to the outside surfaces. Really don't be afraid to blitz them. All 4 jars covered in alcohol. All right. Here we have some inoculum. This is liquid culture. In fact, it's the very same liquid culture I made in my first video. So that'll be cool to see how it works. But we must sterilize the needle with our blowtorch. Again, we want to get the needle glowing red hot for a few seconds. This is being stubborn, but there's no rush. Get that glow running the length of the needle, just like that. A few passes just to be sure, just to make sure we're getting all of the bacteria and spores and whatever else might be on there. We let it cool. And we inject it through the tape down into the side of the jar, and we inject about 1 cc, 1 cubic centimetre of our culture that we made into the jars. That one's done, and we re-sterilise the needle. Every injection should begin with flame sterilisation. Much as in the first time we did this, we get the glow running along the length of the needle. Being stubborn, but there's no rush. We take our time. We really want to get this step right, making sure we're injecting clean, uncontaminated culture into our jars that we've so lovingly prepared. Another pass. And it's ready. We let it cool for a moment. Straight in. Where's my lid? There it is. All right. For these next 2 jars, I'm going to use another gourmet culture that I have here. Again, same procedure. Flame sterilise the needle. Each inoculation begins with flame sterilisation. That alcohol is still clinging to the jars, making sure anything that does land on it is immediately annihilated. But we must still flame sterilise every needle, glowing red hot, just like that. Up and down the whole length. We let it cool. And again, 1 cc is enough. This is pretty vigorous culture. To the side. And yep. Just reapplying some alcohol to my hands. And again last time. Once more, we flame sterilize our needle. Sterility is king. I really can't overstate it. I'm appalled that I'm not doing this in a still air box, but I really want you guys to see what I'm doing. Yeah. This one's being tricky as well. There we go. Got a nice glow going. There we go. Making sure the glow gets all the way along the needle. And in we go. Beautiful. It's the last of that syringe. Have to make some more soon. Stick around for how I make spore syringes from liquid culture. Beautiful. There you have it. Healthy mycelial growth, rhizomorphic growth. These are two of the jars about 5 or 6 days later. And they're loving life. Look at that. Alright, thanks everyone for sticking around and watching. This has been Big Mush 9000. If you've made it this far, don't be afraid to hit the like button and subscribe. Every little bit helps. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.